There are good days and there are bad days. I'm trying to be really positive and not biased that I'm not really strong on customer service. There are some people that just enjoy punishing people for the mistake.
Welcome to Biz Glitch 366. It's day 64 in the leap year of 2024, March 4th, and we thank you for tuning in. Before I introduce Linda Ray, oh, by the way, that's Linda Ray. Oh, nuts, I think I just introduced her. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share, and all that stuff. Linda Ray, Biz Glitch number 64.
Glitch 64 is, how do you feel about customer service? Which is kind of fortuitous, but not, even though some of these are planned, but not exactly planned. We just talked about yesterday, Strengths Finder and delegating and finding your talent and then giving the rest away to other people that have the talent that you don't have. And I said how customer service is not my strong suit. So here we are talking about customer service.
Which is my strong suit.
Yes. When it comes to managing customers, I love talking about problems that we can solve. But then when they're already clients and they're coming to us for, I guess, other problems that happen in the course of whatever kind of business you have, they have to be serviced. There's a thing that's been around for centuries, perhaps. The customer is always right. And there are people that will argue that they're not always right.
I feel like that's a recent product of some of the recent cynicism in our society. I've seen people discussing that out on the internet. Are they really? And, especially because with the growth of this thing here and, oh, that's Batman, and how people post on Instagram and the other platform who will remain nameless, people can do videos and then they do all this stuff about bad customers. That's not what we're here for on this project, the Biz Glitch. We're here to talk about the essence of your business, the mistakes. And when the customer is always right, it really means that you are doing what you can to support your customer.
I'm just going to kind of foreshadow how the part of the actionable item is a podcast that we did. Again, one of our audio-only podcasts where you can find them on Apple or Spotify, wherever you're listening to your podcast, where we talk about, is the customer always right? And we did that a few years ago where we were very embroiled in very dissatisfied customers, not because of what we were doing, but because of the types of problems we were solving. And I think the consensus for us is it really comes down to how you handle the customer.
Because it's a philosophy. It's a cultural phenomenon within your business, if you're by yourself, or within your organization, if you have employees or team members. It's cultural. Yes. And it helps people, you as the business owner, your managers, your team members, if you have outside contractors who are working to support you and support your customer, they're front-facing. It helps all of them. That rule of the customer is always right. Back in the days of my retail experience in customer service, we lived that expression. But we also had moments when, especially at a management level where I was, we knew when the customer was wrong. Mm-hmm. Because up to that point, our staff had done everything possible to enforce the cultural feeling of the customer is always right. I think that's why I mentioned about the cynicism in the current epoch, if you will, that it's too easy to go to the dark side. And I think we need to be more strenuous about honoring the rule first.
Well, I also think it depends on the customer and their demeanor and how they treat the business owner as well. Is there a sense of entitlement? And those are some of the negative things that could cause a disruption, and why there is cynicism and skepticism about customers and customer service. It's also akin to control what you can control, which sometimes is only our reaction to circumstances.
A little color that I want to add, some texture I want to add to that, which was excellent, because that's an excellent observation about this current age of cynicism, if you will. In my long experience in business, including my early career in customer service, one thing I learned, and I think you'll all agree with me, people like to talk about the bad shit. Mm-hmm. It's easy.
Yeah.
Oh, this happened, or look at that person. Oh, what we fail to spend enough time recognizing is the good stuff. I learned that in my customer service experience, that if you count how many people really embrace your following the credo of the customer is always right, and they come back with loyalty to your business or understanding of value, and they'll pay your prices because they get your value, I promise you, those numbers are tremendously higher than the tiny percentage of the stuff that makes it here onto social media.
Well, this brings in a great segue to the goal, which is to address how we're handling when we make mistakes and have to deal with customers where we might have to, swallow our pride and admit fault and assess that fault from that mistake and that mistake from that fault. What are the consequences? What's the
response?
Casualty? Right. Well, how bad is the customer affected so that you can properly address it without fear? And I remember when I would make a mistake or give wrong information and I had to go to that customer and I'd have to own it. Sometimes the customers are super gracious. Then there are some that kind of get a little dramatic where there really wasn't any financial consequence. There wasn't really any emotional consequence.
Just recently, I had a day of scheduled phone calls with clients for our consulting business. And I screwed up. And it's sitting right here at this conference table, and I punched in the client's number, got ready, had it open on my iPhone. I got the notes ready, and I hit send, and I kept getting voicemail. And then I'm sending him emails. And he keeps responding saying, "What number are you calling?" And I misdialed the number. That's what happened.
But you were pretty adamant that...
At first I was adamant, but when I figured it out...
You had never done that before, to be fair, which is why you were adamant, because...
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
It's true. I had never done that before. I didn't realize the mistake because I had never done it before. But when I realized the mistake, I got the customer on the phone. First words out of my mouth when he picked up, I said, "Do you hear the sound of that bus coming from my head? Because I'm throwing myself under the bus.
Yeah.
My sincere apologies. That was my mistake, and I'm sorry. You're already in a stressful situation, and I think I just added to that, and I'm so sorry. Let me make it up to you here on the call." And that's where the rule, the customer's always right, comes in to help you be resilient and responsive.
Right. In this case, you were wrong and the customer was right. And that's sometimes a different scenario from how, the tables sometimes are turned where the customer is wrong and they're unrelenting with being right or feeling entitled to be right.
But sometimes the customer is wrong, and that's a moment for you to make them into a golden, loyal customer. You see, that's where the rule of the customer is always right comes in. I don't want you to focus on the outliers, the crazies, because the crazies are out there. I know. I dealt with them in my retail customer service experience. We dealt with them and do not as much anymore in our consulting. No, I'm talking about when a customer is claiming that they're right and that you're wrong. It's a moment for you to demonstrate your knowledge, expertise, or to embrace that customer and bring them into the fold.
Yes.
And make them and make a sale and make money and have fun doing it too. All of the reasons we have this project.
I think the word I was looking for is compassion. When depending on if that customer just needs some nurturing because they're not in a great way and things are very stressful for them and they're not handling it well and they're taking it out on you. What kind of compassion can be applied to minimize the friction that's happening in the moment? And how can you be the champion to facilitate how that is being handled?
During the pandemic, our consulting business specialized in the COVID-19 pandemic financing, specifically SBA's economic injury disaster loans. And we helped our clients to get over $70 million in approval. And very rarely, but occasionally, a customer would be on the phone with me trying to educate me, a veteran loan officer, an underwriter, and financing professional, on what I should be doing or what they have heard or what they know should work and so forth. They had already paid us our fee. And because I believe in that motto of the customer's always right, I gave them a lot of latitude on that. But it was a teaching moment where I could show them why they hired us.
Right.
Where my expertise came in. And more often than not, they went, "Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yes.
I'm so glad I hired you."
Yes, that's what I mean about how the tables could be turned, and this is our opportunity to continue to deliver value because they're already an existing customer. So I
think more than anything, it's about being human.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier to be nice and to be kind. And when you say the words, the customer's always right, I think that it embodies those two words.
It is. And if you're having a bad day, and maybe when you look back at a moment, how you might have handled it and it wasn't your best day, it wasn't your best moment, we just have to own it or remove ourselves from, the public to witness this demonstration of the bad day.
Go hide in the back storeroom for a minute. And, Henry, do you need a moment?
Yes.
I'll take care of the customer. We do that for each other. Sometimes Linda will step in and help me in a situation where I'm frustrated or I'm just not right in the moment, and likewise. That's why you see us doing these videos every day together, 366 of them for Biz Glitch 366 projects. I want to thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for the next one.
See you tomorrow. Glitch 64? Okay.
Glitch?
I was really trying hard not to interrupt you, and I think I did an amazing job.
You did an amazing job, and you didn't even tap me under the table or kick me under the table or go